Holy high-stakes poker, Batman! Tiki here, and I am watching through each and every episode of Batman Beyond for the first time. Dragon, tell him why we're here.
Well, you see, folks, long ago I made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way, but that was the past, and we must now enter the Batman's future.
That's right. Tonight we are talking about Once Burned. Dragon, this is definitely a step up from the last episode we talked about, but I'm not gonna lie, this is still as the kids would say, I thought this episode was a little mid. Don't get me wrong, there's still some good ideas in here. I use the poker game thing as the holy for a reason, because I feel like that's by far the coolest bit of Scott Snyder style world building that we get in the episode. I don't know, Dragon. You know me. It's like when the Royal Flush gang first came along, I wasn't really crazy about them. I do think there's some Dana infidelity that we do need to talk about. At least this episode, I feel like it's a little bit more upfront with that than the last episode was. But regardless, it still makes me feel a little icky, especially the kiss. Dragon, we'll get into it, but that kiss was horrible. I don't care if she started it. He very much went for it. All right. But overall, this episode, it definitely has a couple really good Bruce Wayne moments. I'll give it that much. But I don't know, man. Conceptually, I've just never really been a big fan of the Royal Flush Gang. I don't know. Maybe if we got to know, like, it's just a lot, you know, like, and the twist, I didn't really, I don't know. So like I said, there's some good ideas in this one. I didn't outright, like, not enjoy myself watching, like was the case last week, pretty much. But it's very much kind of like mid-tier as far as the stuff from Batman Beyond that I've seen so far, in my opinion.
Yeah, so contextually, this is directed by Butch Lukic, who did Lost Soul, an episode you really liked, and Golem, which is another episode you really like. The writer on this was Stan Berkowitz, writers from Burke.
He's doing a lot of season 2 stuff, isn't he?
That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of Berkowitz and Bob Goodman. Those are usually the two big go-to writers for Batman Beyond. So there's a lot of Der Burke on this. So yes, anyway, so Berkowitz, he did Dead Man's Hand, the introduction of the Royal Flush Gang, and Joyride. Studio on this, big surprise, shocker. I'll fan you in case you're feeling faint. Was Coco with some good old marshmallows of Dong Yang in the mix.
Gasp.
Yeah, anyway. I told you, tea gets hot. You got to blow on it first. Anyway. So, yeah, there's really not a lot of background here. This is a continuation of Dead Man's Hand. The idea is like we check in with the Royal Flush Gang at least once per season, so it's kind of a 3-part story at the end of the day. So, you know, this is kind of part 2 of those 3. Let's see. So, you know, the idea, I think I don't know precisely what the fan response is. I want to say, you know, I guess in kind of the advent of, I think the crowd really loves Melanie Walker in the sense of Terry has the Batman Beyond version of a Catwoman. That's kind of the main, like 10's. There's a lot of appeal.
You know what Terry has that the original Batman didn't have, Dragon?
Well, you know,
a steady relationship.
We'll get there. Why do you gotta bring it
I'm
now?
sorry.
We'll
I'm
get
sorry.
there, all right?
Like, Terry doesn't need a Catwoman if he's got a good girl like Dana, all right? Call me old-fashioned.
What about Spider-Man?
You know what? Same basic principle, honestly.
Anyway. Difference with Spider-Man was a good boy. He didn't initiate any of that.
Oh, God.
It just happened.
Well, like I said, Terry didn't initiate this too, but he still also let that kiss happen, so...
That was like a dual identity thing with Spider-Man.
Right, fair enough.
He was a good spider. So, anyway. So, also, it's something to note. However, it's very funny to note this, and you'd appreciate this. So, the Adam Beechin, the guy who basically out of all the writers, this guy in the comics, he did these Batman Beyond comics back when it was a big deal. Like we had never had a real Batman Beyond comic aside from the tie-in stuff that was like the animated series tie-in, like that kids WB really put out there so they could just make more money off the show. It was a good comic though. It was like the Batman the Animated Series tie-in books. I'm just saying that's purely why it was there. Regardless, when they did an official comic for the first time for Batman Beyond, it was really good. And Adam Beechin, great writer, he took it on. He really tried to make it feel like, hey, we're gonna feel like this is how it would have continued on, like we're in continuity with the animated show, but we're doing stuff that was kind of against their series. Well, they didn't have a series Bible. If they did, it'd be against it.
Uh-huh.
So, point me in the Adam Beechin comics, he introduced a Catwoman, but wasn't a romantic thing with Catwoman though. It was a Catwoman where it was very much she used the moniker of Catwoman, but she kind of spat in the face of the whole like Batman Catwoman relationship. And it's like she just scoffed at it. It was like, oh really? I don't feel anything towards you, man. I'm just doing my thing here. So let's see. So again, at the end of the day, I think the Royal Flush Gang it's an excuse to use the fun gimmick villains again, because the Royal Flush Gang does have a really cool gimmick, and the idea that retroactively there's like a legacy factor there, and it's a shame had the Royal Flush Gang been brought back a little bit more. Who knows? We could have done the very minimal times we were able to use them.
I feel like the idea of like the crime family that uses their daughter as more of an accomplice than an actual daughter is an interesting one for sure.
Yeah.
The problem is we know jack shit about like their dynamic with each other as a family. You know what I mean? Like we really, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have not even seen the so-called king and queen outside of costume.
No, we have.
Oh, we have? Okay, I'm sorry. I need to rewatch the first episode.
That's the thing. Honestly, out of the three, I mean, there's a lot I really like about the third episode, which we'll get to when we get to the third season. But I still, the first episode I really do like with Dead Man's Hand. I do not think this episode is as strong as Dead Man's Hand. Let me say that. We're not far off on this one. I'll put it to you that way.
Okay.
Anyway, so the big thing here too is that we're and the crux of the Batman arc here. We're putting Terry's instincts and his trust in people to the test, much like Batman, the whole Batman Catwoman relationship, where Batman tried to rehabilitate her and had varying results. Okay.
All right, want to shout out a couple fine people in the comments here. Lucas Green says, I don't know if Terry can remain fully loyal to Dana if he keeps getting lured to people like Melanie. It does make me question how committed Terry is to relationships.
It wasn't like one rule. It was only one girl, though. It wasn't like many. It's to make that clarification.
Okay, but yeah, I also very much agree with Code Geese here. He says, yeah, Terry kissing Melanie in this episode makes Terry look like not a very good boyfriend to Dana.
I don't disagree, but I make the point that it was only
Dragon, that is a messy moment, man. You've got to admit.
I admit it. I don't disagree. All I can say is for one episode. Okay. It was
right. Also, Code Geese does give some legitimacy to the fans actually liking Melanie, because he says Melanie was one of the better characters in the show. It's too bad that she didn't appear very often. She was like Terry's Catwoman without feeling like a
that is true.
Knockoff.
Catwoman did not have a family, so that was something that Melanie had that Catwoman really didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and honestly, like I say, like Dragon, it's like I'm not going to say that I dislike her as a character. Like I said, the problem is that just it gets very messy.
Every time she makes kissy face, bad things happen.
All right, so with that in mind, you want to just dive right in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Oh, also, Dragon, really quick, just not to bury the lead, we get the return of something this episode.
That we do, but that's
right at the very end, Dragon. They go to a rave.
I know. Way to talk about it already, but yes, we do. We're gonna get.
Like I said, I just don't want to bury the lead because I'm a big connoisseur of the raves. I don't care if it's at the very end. I'm just like, oh, there it is. They're going in.
Yeah, there you go. I was thinking about that when I happened. Oh, Tiki got his rave.
Oh yeah. All
right. He might not like this episode, but he got his rave.
Okay, so we're starting out with this poker game, Dragon, and let me just say the context that Bruce Wayne gives to this poker game makes it, like, honestly, one of the coolest bits of world building that we've had in this show. It's a It's a very Scott Snyder idea, I think.
I had the same thought, like going back over with fine tooth comb. I was like, yeah, man, that is really kind of Snyder before Snyder. It's really cool.
Totally.
So yeah, so there's this poker game between the crime bosses of Neo Gotham.
One of which happens to be Rogue.
Well,
Dragon, I literally cannot look at her design and not see Rogue. I'm sorry.
Right, because every girl with a little white in her hair has to.
It's a very distinct look.
Oh sure.
It's half white, half black. It's very distinct.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What color was Rogue's hair?
Isn't it the same deal? Half white, half black?
Not black.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know X-Men as well as you do.
Anyway.
But still. Anyways.
Anyway.
By the way, this lady is very, as we're going to see in the episode, she's very trigger happy.
I know, right? I was going to bring that up, yeah. Okay, so we have the poker game going on between the crime bosses, which is called, we're going to learn, it's called the Derby. It's got a cool name. So Benny here, Benny's losing very badly, and he's trying to distract a little bit here. Like, did you guys hear a noise? I thought I heard a noise. So anyway, so they discover our goons discover 10 from the Royal Flush Gang, and she really she knocks out one of these goons rather brutally. Bam. So let's see. So we have like her using a flashbang with like the rose-colored glasses, literally, and she robs them blind. It's a bold move. She robs all the big mobsters visiting Gotham. Just robs them blind, and let's see. So they fire. This is great though. Like they're not letting her out without a fight to show you how formidable our mob bosses are here in the future. It's the first time we've really done full-on mob bosses, by the way, in Batman Beyond. We've had our
I gotta tell you, they have some cool designs. A couple funny exchanges. I would like to see more of them.
So would I, Tiki, but sadly.
Okay, we have Richard's victims in the comments just saying, talk about Terry's magnificent chin. Richard's victims, are you talking about just in this thumbnail? Like the angle of it?
Yeah, I think it's like the angle's like putting it on display for him here.
It's like taking candy from a crime boss. He says, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it is a nice chin. It's a handsome chin.
Honestly, I suspect what's going on. The reason in all seriousness, I think the reason we don't see most mobsters in Batman Beyond is that's them trying to differentiate from Batman the Animated Series. They didn't want to.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Because we have low level criminals and like guys running operations, but not really like full on like mob stuff.
And these guys like they're interesting to a certain extent, but I also think they are a little bit like some of them are frankly a little bit like stereotypes almost.
I love that one of them looks like the Kingpin.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. So,
Richard's victims really loving the chin.
A lot of chin discourse going on here. Anyway, so, okay, and point being, they're firing at the playing cards, which means, oh yeah, these guys mean business. They're not playing by stormtrooper logic. They're shooting at the playing cards. She's right. So all this attracts the attention of the Batman Beyond.
I like how he's just like randomly like finishing up busting some other random criminals.
Yeah, he's on patrol. He's getting it done, Tiki.
So
anyway, so they're taking cover, having a little reunion here, a little chit chat, and foolishly Terry. Again, this is kind of like a green, like he's still getting the ropes of being Batman. Again, he's progressed, but we're still. He's like, okay, I was giving back the loot, and they'll be fine with this. Right?
Yeah, right. I like that almost just pisses them off more. It's like, are you serious, dude? You can't just do that.
Would you get a sense though? It's kind of hard to explain, but you get a sense that had Bruce tried this, it actually might have worked, but he would have done it maybe like not before the firefight happened. Who knows? Like he would have intimidated him into not firing the weapons.
Sure.
Anyway, so this is we want revenge now, so they're still shooting at him. Let's see. So, of course, the irony here being it's almost like a Clark Kent, Lois Lane thing from Superman the Animated Series, where the idea is like
it is a little bit, yeah.
If only the idea if they could mix and match here, where like Lois Lane doesn't like Batman, but she loves Bruce Wayne, and she
right,
yeah, she loves Superman. So they can only mix and match. So in this case, 10 can't stand Batman, but she loves Terry McGinnis.
Oh yeah,
big time. So little reversal there too. The whole Batman Catwoman thing in costume. They can't stand each other.
All right, so this rogue woman, her name is Lula, right?
Yes, Lula, who
So she comes out literally guns blazing, man.
yeah, he tosses a tear gas ball and does
Like
some stuff
again, this
with
is
guns.
kids WB, and it's just we're talking bullets, bullets, bullets,
Yeah,
and
but
not
remember,
lasers either. Just straight up guns.
yeah. So she's shooting at Batman like crazy.
Uh huh.
Yeah. That's the thing. Look, she is very trigger happy. We're going to see this later, but you're right. Yeah, so I looked at Lula made an impression of the bunch.
All right, I'm sorry, Lucas Green. People are very fixated on this thumbnail for some reason. Lucas Green says, "Take away Batman," and this is some erotic noir love film. I could see it. I could see it.
I'm just going to call this out, okay? Because just since it's been talked up and brought up, you know, I love Melanie's design. I like the outfit that she wears.
Yeah.
Like the long sleeves and the skirt. I don't know. It looks and the boots. It looks nice. If it's Christian style, it looks nice.
All right.
Anyways, moving on. So, chins and skirts. So, anyway, okay. So the point being, we get away here. So we're in the Batcave. A bunch of gangsters, pile of credits. I love Bruce just kind of recap this. A bunch of gangsters, pile of credits, jewelry, you say? Sounds like the dirty.
Right.
It's like, that's it. That line's just kind of
Little
clunky.
exposition dialogue.
I like that it's clunky, but in the right ways. Where it is looping you in. It's getting you entrenched. The whole like jewelry, you say? It's like, yeah, it's a little on the nose. But Conroy made it sing, though. He made it sing. So he talks about the Derby, and so we're getting to kind of the Scott Snyder-esque, kind of like the history of Gotham. I mean, the really cool. I mean, boiled down, even like taking Snyder out of the equation, here's the fact that I love the idea of the Derby being tied to the history of Gotham, of organized crime, even dating back before Batman. So again, it ties into the mission of Batman, just in terms of this is kind of an event that kind of has been going on for way before his time. So it's just really cool. And the fact that it's still going on, it's a signifier of like, yeah, Batman can change some things in Gotham, but some things are going to be encoded in the city's DNA that he just can't wring out of it.
And that is a very Scott Snyder idea.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm saying, oh god, if only we could have Scott Snyder do a Batman Beyond comic next, because we had Sean Murphy do it, and he was wonderful with it. Sean Gordon Murphy did an excellent job with that. Anyway, so so pointing at Bruce when he lays out the whole thing about the Derby and Terry's question the lack of security, and Bruce just points out they didn't think anyone would be crazy enough to rob them.
Uh-huh.
So Terry believes desperate, not crazy, and he believes that Ten's story about she's doing this for her family.
yes. I bet you had that in your back pocket the whole time, just waiting to use it, didn't you?
I did. Anyway, so there's some doubt on Bruce Wayne over Ten just kind of manipulating him, and then we have this great line. Here's the great Conroy line: "Ah, to be young again and gullible."
Yeah. Dragon 1 could say it's kind of like it's a little reminiscent of
the arrogance of
youth. Now that's what I've had in my back pocket.
Yep. Also, it's really kind of fun about it. I love Terry's response. Like Terry has like this expression. It's like ooh. He has like the ooh expression. It's like, oh Bruce, you got me with the good line. Always has to get the last word because he's the cool looking old guy in the scene. He's got to get the last word. Anyway, so he returns to find. Let's see. We find that the family is gone, and we have this great. There's always a great gag too. This is always like a go-to like line for what they use, like all the like behind the scenes stuff, like Terry's family and stuff. Like Beach Day, where were you, Terry? It was Beach Day. Where were you? Oh, I was out saving the world.
Okay, one of these episodes, we just need to have like an Avatar The Last Airbender style episode where they all go to the beach and there's no Batman stuff at all. It's just teen drama.
That'd be nice.
It would be. I think that'd be a delightful episode.
The real question is, I know technically, before anyone jumps in with her, I know we do go to the beach in at least one episode of Batman Beyond, but it does raise the point. I wonder it made you think, I wonder what the beaches in Batman Beyond look like. I wonder, because we've seen what the park looks like.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, but no, the beaches are pretty much the same. That's
Is it just like essentially like wave pools?
No, I mean it's actually just like a legit beach. I mean some things just haven't changed. I think.
Fair enough.
I don't know if the docks were fancy, but
All right, so Dragon, the chat has gone off the wheels with this chin talk, man. Like, folks, I'm sorry, I can't keep up with this chin talk at this point. If I shout out all the chin comments, it's just gonna totally derail the conversation.
Then we got to bring up like young Bruce's chin, the old Bruce's chin, and then Harry's, and then how it measures up to the in the suit chins.
But let's just acknowledge that we are at the scene with the chin. All right.
Yes. Okay, so point being, Terry is home alone. We're just going to talk like Matt. This whole episode, he's home alone.
Oh my god.
And not with Dana.
Matt McGinnis's day off.
Matt McGinnis's big move.
Oh my god. Oh, Jesus Christ. That is a fever dream of a movie.
God, he has no idea his brother is secretly Batman. Okay, so we discover Melanie is in the house.
Yes.
So again, the whole thing here of like Melanie kind of versus Catwoman in terms of like it's the fact she has a family versus being lonely like Catwoman was. She needs a place to stay until nightfall, until she can because she's on the run. Mainly, she's afraid the crime boss is coming after her and everything. But she's on the run. She doesn't really have any place to go. And Terry's the only person that she's had kind of like, being that she's moved all over the place. The only person she's forged a connection with enough to defy her family, at least for a moment. In the last episode, it's Terry McGinnis, that nice lad, Terry McGinnis. All
kind of gives me some Gwen Stacy vibes a little bit.
I mean, a little
like
bit.
Spider-Verse Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, I guess I get
just in the idea that like Terry's like the one person in her very inconsistent, messed up life that she's formed a connection to.
That is a good point. Yeah, I'll co-sign that. Yeah. Anyway, so of course, not even Batman would think to look for me here, which is kind of a funny gag of like, oh, if she only knew. So 10 claims that the Jokers are holding her family hostage. Which is why she's been acting so reckless, hence the recklessness of what she's been doing and stealing from the Derby and everything. So Terry has a clearer picture behind the scenes here about what's going on. So Terry wants to call the cops, but she says the Jokers are going to kill him if that happens. So again, there's a bit of a parallel there. I mean, it's always this weird thing where every time we try to draw Joker parallels, you do realize that, well, no, technically Mr. Fix killed Terry's father, and they framed the Jokers.
Right. Yeah.
But I think it's the sense of, like, at least that does bring up the question, though. Well, I mean, she's not actually trying to manipulate him or anything. It was just the fact that the Jokers will kill her family. So, never mind. Point being, it's like we're having some vague parallels to other stuff that Terry and Jokers does kind of go hand in hand. So, it's a thought that probably does cross his mind at least a little bit. So, then Dana calls.
Yeah. And, Dragon, here we go. I mean, this is... First of all, he blows off Dana.
Well, to be fair, he's always kind of blowing off Dana in terms of, in terms of he's.
Which
always
like, that's just like the reality of being Batman, and we kind of have to live with that in our Dana shipping. But Dragon, what is unforgivable, man? I'm sorry. We have to break down this kiss because you're not a fan of it either, and it's just a bad moment.
Okay, so to break it down, first off, the thing to call out is so Dana calls. Melanie knows Dana has called.
Yes.
And her go-to move is here, I'm going to seduce Terry.
Yeah. It totally rubs me the wrong way. And what really bothers me, Dragon, is the fact that Terry shows no resistance to it. In fact, like, based on his body language, he kind of wraps his arm around her back. It's like he's fully going in for it.
He does. I mean,
as far as I'm concerned, the boy's fully complicit.
I know. So it's basically, I would call it's a minor emphasis. One episode, it's a minor heel turn, but yes, it's not good. You know me. I hate. You know me. I'm not.
Like I said, at least I like this episode. Unlike the last episode this character was in, I like the fact that we're actively calling him out on it. At least.
You know me. I'm not crazy about infidelity and things. Plus, it's always conflicting because one of my favorite characters of all time, in Commissioner Gordon, he did have an infidelity in year one. So
This
there
is
is.
true, yes.
However, he did come clean about it though. He wasn't going to deny it. He did come clean about it, and it led to all the marital issues.
Uh-huh.
Still, though, I mean, that was a whole. He had time to dedicate to that. Here, not so
Okay,
much.
Lucas Green asks, I wonder how much of this is Melanie using Terry and how much of it is genuine in your mind?
Well, I mean, he's already going to let her stay, but then again, I think he okayed it before. Do you remember? Did he okay it before the kiss?
I think he did, yeah.
So I think he was already going to let her stay. So I don't think I think it's just Jen because I think she was going to betray her family for this guy. She wanted to leave her family for Terry. So I think the feelings are real on her side of things. I think she really does.
I mean, she straight up tells the family that she loves him, which I'm not gonna lie, Dragon, that's a bit much.
I mean, okay. In retrospect, I think you're
Speaking
right.
as a man who his last relationship ended very abruptly because I used the L word too soon.
I'm sorry, are you Batman?
That's a little much.
I'm sorry, are you Batman and not telling me? Can I refocus? So contextually, when you look back on things like the infatuations, like they had the big clock date and they'd kiss a few times and they liked it, and then she was ready to leave her family. Now, she didn't say love him in that first episode, but she's had time to stew on it though. I mean, she probably has been thinking about him. But you're right though, it's still a leap. But
they literally met once.
That's the thing. Well, wait. No, twice. They meant twice.
Okay, twice. I'm sorry.
I'm not disagreeing that it's a fast move, but I'm just saying that it's not completely coming out of nowhere. But you're right,
Dragon. I'm saying it's coming about out of nowhere as like the old school Walt era Disney romances.
I'm just saying, had she said love in the first episode, it would have been absolutely but she didn't. It was the fact that she would Terry opened her new horizons, and I think that was a big thing for her. But you're right. It's a move. It's a big move.
All right. Well, I mean, we're just not going to be not bothered by it. So
no, yeah, it's again, it's like looking at it. I hate looking at Batman being, being a cheater. I don't like it.
All right. With how sketchy, with how sketchy is, I feel if Matt was in Terry's position, he'd be more down for the action than the love, says Lucas Green.
Matt, what?
I don't know. I wonder. I'm sorry, I already read that. Lucas Green says. Then again, Bruce has done some sketchy things with Barbara in some adaptations.
So now that actually is a very fair point. The Barbara thing is a
okay. I'm sorry, Richard's victims. I gotta point this out. I gotta put it on the screen. He literally changed his profile picture to the chin.
Oh my god!
That is genius, Lucas Green. Okay. Or Richard's victims. I'm sorry. That is genius.
Lucas Green's point. He does have a point there. The Barbara thing. It's so funny. Each generation of Batman is going to be that one iffy thing. However, the Barbara thing stuck around a lot longer than the Melanie thing. I guess to give Terry points there. And also the fact of the one minimal defense that we have with Terry. It doesn't save him, but just to factor in, to give context, to give mitigating circumstances. He is a young man. He's not dealing with the whole devoted to the mission thing. He's a young man. He's hot boy. He's got he's got needs. Again, these are not justifiable means, but he was caught up in the moment. It's a human flaw, it happens, but it's not good, and there should have been consequences, and there weren't. So
Lucas Green says, I wonder if Batman found out Terry was if Melanie found out Terry was Batman, would that be good or bad?
That is a good question.
I honestly think it might be a good thing in the long run. Because Code Geese says, I wonder what the show would have been like if Melanie became a crime fighter like Terry. I think her discovering that Terry is Batman would have led to that.
I think, but I don't want to talk too much about the next episode, but let's just say, we have Max on the table now. Of course, Max knows about Terry being Batman. Now, it feels like if we had Melanie, that would have crowded. It would have been the last thing you'd want for this show is what happened on that CW Flash, in which the Flash is terrible at keeping his identity secret.
Right,
The
right.
last thing you want is like, okay, every pretty girl Terry. It's basically it's going to turn to how it should have ended. Like, hey, I'm Batman. You want to know my secret identity? You don't want it to turn into that. You don't want it to become like an affect at that point, right? Man, every pair of legs that comes by is going to find out that Terry.
Exactly.
But then, of course, they have the ethical thing of like, okay, if Melanie finds out, why doesn't Dana know?
Sure.
So I think it was a good call that she doesn't find out. Plus, even Catwoman never in Batman Answers, Catwoman never found out. So
All right. Well, we should probably move on.
Yeah.
I very much knew that particular moment would be something that we were going to dwell on right when I saw it.
Yeah.
All right.
I gotta be honest, Lucas, you're gonna have to clarify. I keep mentioning Matt. Now, this is gonna be a dumb question. You mean like Matty, like the little kid brother, and not you mean like Matt Murdock or something, right?
No, I think he does mean the brother, because he says before I was questioning if Matt would be a better Batman if he was Terry's age.
Well, I was thinking because he mentioned the romance stuff earlier on. That's what I was really thinking. Like he was talking about, like Matt Murdock, very famously, he's very much the ladies' man. Does that sort of thing all the time. So that's why I was thinking. Okay,
I mean,
Matty,
honestly, Lucas Green, to answer your question, I just don't. I really don't think we know enough about Matty. Like, just because like he is just a very blank slate, like generic '90s little kid character.
Yeah, they never fleshed out Matty until like the very recent Batman Beyond comics, which are a little more separated from the cartoons. So they didn't really like.
So I really just have no point of reference for what he would even be like at Terry's age, let alone if he'd be a good Batman.
Because you got to question like how much would Matty mature over the years?
Like, right.
Now he's in the '90s kid brother mode right now. It's kind of
exactly.
Like, I like to think he'd mature up and be a good person. I like to think that.
You know what? '90s kid brother like age, like flash forward. I actually really appreciate
what
dill pickles.
Okay, we're just gonna move on. So
you don't like Dylan All Grown Up?
I mean, I guess I haven't really revisited All Grown Up ever since I watched it for the first time. It's just like it's.
I really like what they did with his character. I feel like he was one of the few people in that show that actually got some character development.
Only because his previous character was a nothing character.
This is true. This is true.
He was a sack of potatoes, practically.
Instead, Phil and Lil get to become nothing characters and all grown up.
Where's the justice, my friend?
Anyways. All right.
Hashtag twin redemption. Okay, so... Okay, so point being, some kissy face happens. We don't know what else happens off screen. I'm just gonna say that.
That's true. That's true.
We don't know what happens.
I mean, it is implied. It is dark when we cut back. It's like several hours gonna pass.
Yeah. I mean, well, I think it's dark and we have sunrise happen at the end. Or wait, no, sunset.
Because of
right.
the Maddie joke that we're gonna get.
You're right. Sorry about that. Yeah. So they take in the view, which is a nice view, by the way. Mm-hmm. Take in the view, and again, it's a question of almost the Flintstones question, like how far did it go between the ads, between the commercial breaks?
Right.
Anyway, so then we have the line "once burned, twice shy," and she tries apologizing, realizing there's no.
I'm not gonna lie, I think that's a pretty lame use of the title.
I mean, it's probably. I wonder. I think it's like an aftermath thing. I think it's probably was a line in the episode. And they're just looking for what to call the episode. Maybe.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't. It just really doesn't stick. It's not a moment in the episode that really sticks out to me.
Right. Actually, I'm going to bring this up. In general, it is a really good question. Like in the writing process, do they come up with the titles first, or is it purely like an aftermath thing, like most things?
I would guess it's an aftermath thing.
Right? You'd have to think that. Anyway, so, it mentions things have changed, mainly with Dana. And again, this is like the guilty afterglow. This is kind of the opening of Psycho going on right now. Do you not find me attractive? Of course, we have a firm yes shot. Like, yes. I mean, of course, Terry, he's echoing this sentiment. Yes, I find you attractive. Doesn't make what I've done not bad. Anyway, so the family interrupts kissy face time yet again. again, who knows what would have happened after that.
Right.
Anyway, so he doesn't want her to go it alone, but she says, "Thanks for caring, Terry." And she leaves. And then Maddie shows up and is like, "What are you doing in the dark?" "Oh, watching the sunset. That was like an hour ago." "Oh, well, if you stick around, it's gonna be an instant replay." Really?
I will admit that, like, part of me is kind of annoyed. Like, I don't necessarily buy that even a kid Matt's age would be that gullible, but I do really like the payoff for that gag.
Yeah.
Instant replay, huh?
Twip.
Okay, Richard's Victims is on fire tonight, man. He says, man, this really does make me make me feel Batman Beyond once burned, huh, Bruce? Why the hell are you talking like that, Barry?
Terry.
Barry. I'm sorry, Barry. Got Flash on my mind.
Terry Berkman.
Oh, God. God.
Oh, I think we found our live action Terry McGinnis. We're going to cast Bill Hader.
Oh, I don't think so.
You know what's funny, though?
What if we cast Bill Hader as like a washed out Terry McGinnis?
Well, that would be great. But, actually, just to highlight a really good idea one of our buddies had, Rohit Dar, he actually made a really good suggestion. Bill Hader is the Joker.
Oh, I could totally see it.
Right?
I could absolutely see it. Yeah.
Anyway.
Koji says, as a little kid, I thought that Terry's superhero name was Batman Beyond instead of just Batman.
Now, to be fair, it was like the Static Shock thing.
I was going to say it's kind of the Static Shock.
We all did. It was a misnomer. Anyway, but I mean, deep down, he really is he is Batman Beyond. We're just not saying it. Let's be honest. That one more Static that one's purely a title thing, but
Also, I'm sorry, I have to take this opportunity for the reference because he did get brought up. Richard's Victim says Dill's a monster. In other words, Richard's Victim, are you saying that you don't like dill pickles? All right, I'm done. I'm sorry. Points if you actually get that reference, Richard's Victims. All right. Okay, where were we? Moving on.
Sad Bruce.
Sad Bruce.
So poor Bruce Wayne. This is a moment where I appreciate the sadness of the situation. Poor Bruce Wayne. He's alone at the big Batman '89 table, eating.
Yes.
Every time I see that long table, it's the Batman '89 table.
I got to admit, I think Things Are Always Quiet here is a nice little contender for the great Conroy moment. I think.
I agree. Honestly, this whole scene, this is a great Conroy scene. It's for a number of reasons, though. Even the silent moments, very kind of great. It's a great Batman moment. It's a great Bruce Wayne moment. By the way, in case anyone's curious, in the new Flash movie, the Batman '89 table does appear.
Does it really?
It does.
That's cool.
All right, so okay, so point being, we see the '89 table, and then Bruce is eating soup, which is also a somewhat of a Batman Returns reference. Where he's like, "Alfred, it's cold. It's Vichy soir, sir." So the idea, it's always like the sad fact of Bruce without Alfred. All he's eating these days is soup.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, Bruce without Alfred, it's just like a depressing thought, just in general.
I know it's it's killed, and they never talk about it. They never like Alfred. It's gonna be mentioned, but he's mentioned by name twice in the entire show. Once in the Alfred gag with Max, and I believe once more when we have like a Barbara Gordon coming over to Wayne Manor scene. All right, so Terry calls and he's asking Bruce for the night off to study with Dana. Because it's a quiet night. He's like, things are always quiet here. Take the night off. So it's Bruce being really nice to Terry here. How nice is that?
Yeah.
Take the night off. And again, it's the fact of like, it's also like we're saying in this scene, like Bruce doesn't have a Dana. It's just Bruce is like, you know what? Live it up, kid. It's kind of a Jonathan Banks like live it up, kid to Jesse Pinkman kind of moment.
Sure.
All right. So without this, here's a big moment though. Without the aid of Bruce Wayne, Terry. He turns to Max for a lead. And this is going to be a building point of contention, by the way. So plant the flag, my friend. The Bruce Wayne versus Max dynamic has begun.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Let's just say we'll get to it. Let's just say Bruce. So he can't go to Bruce Wayne, so he goes to Plan B, which is Max, to find a lead to find out where the heck 1010's going.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. So she's hacking into the Defense Department satellites very illegally, and Max here, the great Cree Summers, calls out the infidelity.
Yeah, no shit, dude. And again, I like the fact that this episode does directly call it out is like the one thing that kind of tips the scales in this episode's
It would have
favor.
been a terrible moral if, like, hey kids, there's your hero. Cheat on your girlfriends. Do it.
I know, right? And again, Dragon, like I can't emphasize enough. We don't see enough of Terry and Dana's actual relationship, but when we do, the moments we do get, she is such a fucking nice girl.
Exactly. Yeah.
And not in the creepy Norman Bates way.
She's a nice girl, mother.
I don't think you're a nice girl.
You're not a nice man.
Oh God! All right.
Anyway, so okay, so basically she calls out the whole Betty and Veronica situation here of like, look, Terry, you got to pick one. It's not fair to Dana. I says, oh shoot. Anyway, I can't get a 7-season CW show to allow me to date both.
I know, right? You know, if this was a CW show, he would be dating. Like him and Max would probably have been dating at this point.
See, that's the thing. If someone said, hey, you want a Batman Beyond show? You want it to come back in live action even? I'm going to give that to you, but here's the catch. It's going to be a CW show. Like, I don't know.
I'm not going to lie. I would still fucking watch it. I would know it was bad, but I'd still watch it.
That's the thing. It's like, it's so tempting, right? It's like, we have to, I mean, it's Batman Beyond and brought in the live action, but waiting for years for it. I mean, would you, that's the choice.
Right. Yeah.
I'm saying, but it's like,
I probably wouldn't commit after the first season, but I would have to watch at least the first season.
I mean, you'd kind of have the Titans loophole of like, well, it's not Bruce Wayne in the bat suit, and you could have Bruce Wayne, much like he is in that Teen Titans show. So, but he's not in the suit, so
right.
I mean, there's your out. Anyway, okay, so the Derby. We checked back in with the Derby. It's our new location. Benny, or to kind of say it like El Gen.
Benny!
So Benny wants to put the game on hold, mainly because he's losing. He's like 20, I forget if it's 20 or 50 large in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We have Tyrus, who has the Kingpin look to him. He's the guy with the goatee, the big guy in the pretty much Kingpin colors.
Right.
You know, he's calling him out. Meanwhile,
but like Michael Clark Duncan Kingpin, which is cool.
Yeah. So Batman interrupts as 10. It's really cool. 10's about to interrupt the card game. He uses the grappling line to hook the playing card. So you can't. You're gonna have to sit this one out. Says I can't afford to sit this one out. And she fires off. And then Batman, poor Terry here. Then again, he did cheat on Dana for that one scene, so maybe it's justified.
Yeah. I've got
back.
no sympathy for the pain that Terry goes through in this particular episode. I'm not gonna lie.
Not emotional pain, folks. I mean, literally, Terry gets hit by a big honking pipe, and it looks like it hurts. Like, bam! It's like, well, Terry, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't have kissed Mel. I know she's pretty, but you gotta make a choice. All right, so little Court of Owls-esque battle here, as it's kind of like the climax of Court of Owls. Again, more Snyder, even, where Batman's being dragged around like midair, very Spider-Man-esque as well, by like the little by the grappling line as someone's flying like a little hovering platform.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout a building and everything. He crashes through the building just like the Court of Owls climax. Should be said, Scussner is an advocate of the DCAU, so he probably did watch this episode. Let's see. So we have a little rocket tackle, which is awesome. He kind of tackles her and pins her. And he tells us to skip the sob story, like, no ransom money.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. This is a little bit of a janky transition for me.
I mean, I do like him saying no more stealing. It's like it's Batman taking like the whole trying to redeem Catwoman thing. You're like, no more stealing. We're not doing that. Stop bringing that up.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the transition where we go from that to like chained up man wolf creature.
Okay, that's a fair point. That is kind of a rough.
It's a janky like Dragon. For a second, I had to check and make sure that the episode didn't skip.
However, this is a good opportunity to bring up again. We don't see it often, but it does get brought up a little bit, and in conjunction with the Jokers, they don't full on say there's a splicing gang, but we do have still spliced people that have been spliced.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. It is a real building.
And they are in conjunction with the Jokers right now, which is going to have a great payoff when we get to Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. So we're getting there. So the point being, we have this big old compound with the Jokers. Now, Tiki, when they were making this episode, I didn't mention this earlier, so I bring it up now. When they're doing this episode, they did run into a story issue. In that, okay, so the running gag with the Jokers is until Return of the Joker, the Joker's the gang of Jokers are kind of on the pathetic side in terms of Batman can lay waste to them pretty easily. You know, they're not really intimidating once Batman's in the scene. When Batman's not in the scene, they are intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
So that said, it's like, how the heck are we going to make what are we going to do? Is throw one Joker gang in theory, holding the Royal Flush gang hostage? So what are we going to do? We're going to use all the Jokers. We're going to have like a giant, just giant network of Jokers, just to kind of outman them.
And I will say that the presentation on that was really cool. There's one kind of tracking shot with the action in particular that I was very impressed by.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it is the number of Jokers that we have in the scene is a good kind of trade-off, because I myself was wondering when I heard, like, wait a minute, the Jokers have her family? Why is that even a problem?
Yeah, but it's like all the Jokers have her family.
Right.
So that's one way to make the Jokers menacing. Where again, it's the legacy thing. The fact that Batman has one guy in a suit doing right by his name, where the Joker, while ineffectual, he has like all the youth culture of Gotham in his corner. All right, so we have this almost this cage match going on here where Batman's locked in and he's outnumbered.
And then this is a tracking shot I was talking about. Very impressive animation right there.
Yeah. Oh, we should mention this too. Before they went in to do this foolhardy rescue attempt, she gave a note to Batman. It's gonna be important. She gave a note to Batman. That was a note for Terry McGinnis to read in case the worst happened to her.
I literally have written in my notes at the end of this episode, what is this? What did Scarlett Johansson whisper in Bill Murray's ear bullshit?
Let me say that they're going to call it back, but it's going to be good.
Is it going to come back in the next time we see her?
Yeah, but not in a satisfying way, I'm sure.
Okay.
It'll come back.
Don't get me wrong, Dragon. On some level, I do like the fact that the note is not even important enough to Terry to even bother reading.
That's the thing, I like.
I do like the symbolism of that.
Yeah, I mean, that choice, I do like that choice, Tiki. I'm just saying, but yeah, if you expect the note to be something important, then yeah, you're probably going to be disappointed.
Right.
Okay, so they infiltrate the place. It's overrun. I think the idea is it's like a meatpacking place. It's overrun by clowns. Terry holds him off. She seeks the Royal Flush Gang. Anyway, so there's no Royal Flush Gang there as Batman learns the hard way is interrogating one of the Jokers, which then leads to, oh boy, it's a hoax. So Terry is now trapped, and he's trapped in there, and he's fighting. Then we get that tracking shot that you love.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I kept jumping to it. Yeah.
So by the way, we reused all the models, and pretty much all the Jokers but one are in this scene. Everyone but Terminal.
Yeah,
everyone with the Michael Rosenbaum Joker. Yeah. But yeah, so you have Scab. So one last appearance of Scab. Tiki, your man, Scab.
Oh my god. Very, very blink and you miss an appearance.
And J-Man. I think it's the last time we see J-Man. Okay. So, anyway, so it seems like, again, that he can take out only so many Jokers, but he's being outnumbered, and soon they're going to find crowbars, and that's not going to end well for anyone. So, thankfully, Batmobile saves him. Of course, the Batmobile saving him means only one thing. Bruce Wayne is wise to what's going on. He bails him out, and Bruce isn't going to be happy. He's like, how'd you find me? You weren't at Dana's. I called Dana. You weren't there. There's a tracer in the suit, as you probably imagine. So he's got some splaining to do. Guess you do.
But I will say the save is pretty awesome.
It is.
It is a pretty kick-ass moment. I'm not gonna lie.
I love how Bruce is he's like a Tom Bosley parent here. I love that Bruce is
kind of.
Do you remember that episode? I'm gonna go super nostalgia. No one's gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. You probably aren't gonna remember. You remember that episode of Happy Days where Richie got drunk for the first time, but Tom Bosley handled it like a champ?
Honestly, it sounds vaguely familiar, Dragon. It sounds vaguely familiar.
Like I think it was like Richie and Ralph Mouth, like or Potsy. They went to like this party, and the idea was like, okay, we're gonna eat bread, and we're gonna drink milk like crazy with the drinks, so we're
Oh
not
my
gonna get
God.
drunk, and it didn't work out at all. And then he
That's
returns home,
funny.
and like Joni's like, oh man, Richie's an adult, he got drunk, and like and I was like, well, what you're going through right now, it's all the punishment you need right
Yeah,
now.
no, Dragon, no, I've absolutely seen this episode.
Right?
Yeah, I remember that stern, like, well, son, what you're going through now is.
Yeah.
No, I've absolutely seen this.
So so you want to be an Imagineer? Highly approved, Tom Bosley and his parents. Guys.
We highly approve of Happy Days, just in general.
I just mean to keep calling him Tom Bosley. I just want to give a nod to the actor there, but yes, Howard Cunningham.
Sure.
Okay, so anyway, so let's see. So we cut back from okay, so the Derby then gets robbed for the third time.
Right.
Technically the second, because the second one was interrupted, but still, I think they were vaguely aware that the robbery happened. So we have
and this time Lula is just not happy at all, man. And this is one of the funnest moments of the episode where she's just straight up like she's firing her gun so hard that she just aimlessly fires at the bar in the apartment.
Yeah, a very trigger happy Lula. Then we have the gag with Tyrus and Benny there. It's like slaps him. It's just like, that's for saying I told you. I wasn't gonna say. I didn't say anything. You were gonna.
That was fun.
All right, let's see. So I think they love their dumb kids at the end of the day. All right, so we get back to the end of the exposition here, where okay, so Terry didn't have to rehash everything. We're at the end of the scene. So no trip to the Batcave to do the exposition, though.
I know, right? No slide. Oh God, Terry, you better be at the Batcave, and you better have a slideshow to explain.
Young man, yourself. There's gonna be a slideshow.
All right. God.
Says, why do we have to keep going back? Hey, every time there was a crime in Gotham, I would meet my friend on a rooftop or in his office or anything, and we'd have the little exposition scene, and I'd disappear on him, and many times I'd scare him when I showed up. Okay, that's how it goes. So march to the cave, young man. You have it easy.
Okay.
Anyway. Okay, but seriously, we have this thing here of like, I knew you wouldn't trust her. Apparently, I was right.
Uh-huh.
I did put a tracer on her. Live and learn, kid. Essentially, you're learning. It's just like live and learn. That's all you have to say. So yeah, I love that Bruce kind of having sympathy between the lines here. Bruce is having sympathy for the whole Batman Catwoman relationship thing he's going through right now. He gets it.
Sure.
And this was set up at the end of the first episode because he says, "Yeah, this never happened to you, Mr. Wayne." This is like, let me tell you about a woman named Selena Kyle. So
I do remember that. Yeah.
So again, this is kind of like Bruce just kind of like kind of giving him a life lesson here about trusting your bad guys and just kind of seeing where it leads. Let's see. But yeah, Bruce trying to Also, the really nice thing in the grand course of the arc here. Bruce is trying a different approach. He's not reading the riot act, at least not fully right now, because this moves like that probably as we saw, kind of alienated the whole Bat family, which he's trying to avoid. It's why he's alone eating that soup alone. That's why he doesn't want that to happen anymore. At least he wants to try to change. Okay. So, let's see. So we let's see. Okay, so we follow 10. Batman follows 10 to the ransom exchange at a warehouse, Tiki, at a warehouse in Gotham in the future. And we reveal, much like the Kettlemans, the Kettleman family, they kidnapped themselves.
I know, right?
The Royal Flush Gang kidnapped themselves. It was all a messed up loyalty test for
so, Dragon, this is like... I feel like on paper, this is an interesting development, but like I said, the problem is that we just do not have a lot of context for what this family's dynamic is like. And so it's like, for them to outright be like, we didn't think you loved us anymore. I'm like, whoa. I mean, much like her loving Terry, I think that's kind of an extreme leap to make.
Because here's the thing: when you look at the Royal Flush Gang, it was kind of her moments of weakness were she only did two things in Dead Man's Hand. Okay, she screwed up the wiring because her head was on dating before it was about she wanted to meet Terry. And that's why she screwed up the wiring on the big heist in the first episode. And later in that episode, like she said, "Hey, don't kill him. As you ever question me again?" Like she questioned her, but it didn't really wasn't it wasn't really a lot to go off on in terms of what happens between the lines between episodes.
Yeah. I mean, I
would argue that we do know. I think we know enough that we can infer. But you're right, though. It wouldn't have hurt. It wouldn't have hurt.
Definitely feels like a leap, like I said.
Right. Anyway, so we have this loyalty test here. It's twisted. And she feels very hurt by this when she's already like she picked her family over Terry at the end of the day, and like that's the thing. She had an opportunity to escape and she didn't, and that's what got her caught. That's what broke Terry's heart at the end of the last episode. So she's questioning her family and she calls him out on making her choose between the family and Terry, and the fact that they wouldn't accepted him because only basically says the only reason they didn't okay Terry was because he would have taken her away from the gang, from the crime enterprise, which her role on the team. And she's not wrong. Sadly, she's not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so okay, so Batman shows up here, and I like that she's like saying like, no, wait, like don't. She's like, wait, what are you talking about? It's Batman, go get him. So 10 feels bad because she did unintentionally. She left Batman for dead. She was doing it for her family. She saw this wasn't working, and she left. She could have bailed him out, but she didn't. Again, she cut and run on him, which is bad. So I like that she's taking a moment here, feeling, oh man, I really did this guy dirty. Maybe we should don't kill him. He's been helping me find you guys after you lied and everything.
Yeah, he's only been helping me save your life.
Yeah,
which apparently didn't need saving.
Not in the slightest. Okay, so let's see. So they fight. Yeah, like there's this really painful battering to Jack's head, which is like, ouch, wow. Like, got hit in the head and flung off that card, man. Let's see. So then this is a really interesting solution here, which is a move that you have to question if Batman would pull or not, which I think at the end of the day, Batman might pull, but it just kind of shows like Terry versus Bruce's methods here. Terry is I
think Batman would pull the cops, not necessarily like sticking the rival gang on them.
That's the thing. So Terry, he's kind of thinking by street rules here. Which again, Terry's kind of a street kid. He's kind of a punk kid to a degree. Where Terry, he outthinks the gang here. Where he basically says, okay, I'm going to sick the derby on you, which is the worst of the two evils, and then I also call it the cops. So it's really karmic in a way. I do like the fate of the Royal Flush Gang here. Like, hey, you made your daughter choose between these two sides. So now you have to make a choice, the humiliation of defeat or go out in a blaze of glory, essentially, which is not going to be glorious at all. You're going to get killed by mobsters that you forced your daughter to steal from, or turn yourselves in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. All right, 10 gets away, and yeah, so gave her a choice and everything. That's it, and then we end on the rave.
Yes. You know what? We don't even we just literally kind of see the lobby of the rave, but I don't care, Dragon. We acknowledge that the raves exist.
They were going into the rave. Batman's a rave monkey.
Yes.
Let's see. So they find so Terry's looking for credits to get into the place for a mission for the club, which sounds expensive, by the way. He finds the note from 10 and trashes it without even looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bum.
All right. So before I get into final thoughts, I just want to address the comments one more time. You guys have been on fire in the comments tonight. I appreciate it. Let's see. Richard Victim says, a Bruce without Alfred is like a Terry without his chin. Brought it back! Let's see. It's nice that Terry is not involved in a relationship with Max. I feel like that would be a bit much for us.
It's funny. Yes, it would. I mentioned this before, but in case Lucas Green doesn't know, it was contemplated to do that in Batman Beyond in the writer's room, and they decided not to do that, thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Sonia Pantoja briefly popping in just to say hi. How you doing, Sonia? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Lucas Green says, Lucas Green says, I'd imagine the note reads, I'm a synthoid. What?
Okay, no, I think he means synthoid, not synthoid.
Okay. Those female robot drones that
Yeah.
one of the school students used to get a girlfriend.
Yeah, that's going to be an episode we're going to get to. So,
Okay. Well, I do not know of this concept.
So I don't. It might be a typo, but synthoid, yeah.
Or a spell check. Okay.
Which,
Let's see.
fun fact though, this occurred to me just now. So yes, that's a synthoid, but also in Kim Possible in the movie. So the drama, which of course features Wilfred Dillis Ron Stop.
Yes.
Our fake boyfriend, the Eric, the fake boyfriend Eric, who was revealed to be a synthoid. That's what we call the synthetic henchman in that movie
funny.
as well. So yeah.
Okay, Code Geese says, I think it would have been funny if Terry's superhero name was Bat Teenager. Glad it wasn't. He also says, I like the Jokers. They're fun reoccurring antagonists in the series. And then Warp Monarch popped up for a little bit just at the end here. He says, Terry uses the Derby to weaken the Royal Flush Gang, allowing the cops to apprehend him.
Yep.
Then after Melanie betrayed him twice, Terry didn't want to deal with her anymore. Plus, he can't risk her endangering his family. Then also Lucas Green saying, and it's back to Dana again because things didn't work out with Melanie.
Sadly, Dana, and it's so sad because only in like these 2 episodes does Dana really feel like the constellation prize, and I don't think that's fair to her.
No, it's absolutely not fair to her.
Yeah.
All right. Well, final thoughts, Dragon. Like I said, there's a couple good moments. I like the idea of the Derby as a Scott Snyder kind of bit of world building. But really, this episode's a little bit of a nothing burger for me, if I'm being totally honest. There's just not a ton of substance here. And I will say the kiss is probably the most problematic moment that we've had in the series thus far.
Yeah. So, I agree. So for me, look, this is not my go-to episode. I mean, I don't like it nearly as much as the other 2 Royal Flush Gang episodes. I do like what it was going for. I mean, fundamentally, the whole thing, like we're paralleling the whole Batman failing to redeem Catwoman sort of thing. We're seeing something kind of like that, and we do have like the fun aspect with the Derby, and we have some nice Bruce Wayne is on fire in the episode. But yeah, there's not really much to it, and when you rewatch it too, it's just really it's kind of Terry's relationship issues that he's kind of failing miserably at, so it's not really a fun watch.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Okay, and once again, I'd like to thank Lucas Green, Code Geass Anime Fan, Richard's Victims, and Warp Monarch, who popped up at the very end. You guys are all awesome. Seriously, this was a great live stream for the comments. I'd love to see that kind of engagement. All right, Dragon, take us out.
Perchance to dream turned PSA. Virtual reality taken literally. A new sidekick. Can Terry and Max uncover this teen-targeted plot? Will Dave and Buster's be home to all criminal enterprises? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated bad time, same animated bad place.
On the next visit to Batcave Beyond with Hooked Up.
Terry,
I mean, come on, guys. Who doesn't love Dave and Buster's?
Terry,